Yeah, what'd you get?
Little package. I think this. I was talking today about the ES lure stuff.
Is that what that is?
I'm
Has
gonna
he sent
open
you
it
stuff before?
on the podcast?
Yeah, we're rolling.
Yeah, we're live. And
Yeah.
we didn't even do an intro.
We just start going. What you got in the package, man? Come on, let's see it. Show and tell.
Oh, yeah.
This is
ES
from.
lure. Just sent
Is that for? They got like. Let me see that. Let me see that. Is that ES lure? Are you sure? Oh dang, they got like legit packaging now, and lures.
a drum rig.
Nice.
You need a drum rig?
Nice.
Greg
That's
does
a
lot of
big.
drum
That's a
fishing.
big drum rig.
Yeah. Well, you should see what they throw on there on the East Coast. This one's. Look at this one. This one's heavy.
Check that out.
2 ounce. That's not bad. Huh. They're getting after it, ES lures. Which we should tell the story about ES. You were just informed about
I
this.
just found out about this today.
So
Do you use ES lures
no.
before?
ever throw 'em?
Not yet.
You should. They're
about to.
Yeah, they're great
That
lures.
one's yours.
Yep, there you go. Look at there.
That's gonna do it right there.
That is. They're great for
There's a
Spanish
smaller presentation.
and
if you want
bonita.
one. Those are better for the Spanish.
And if you see like the big reds, obviously they'll eat anything,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you can throw that so far. It's just a nice lure.
Absolutely. 'Cause
reach
we
out
get
there.
out there, and it's windy.
Oh yeah, that'll cut through it.
Yeah. This
Easy.
will definitely cut through it.
So
Appreciate
ES,
that.
if you don't know, stands for eat. And the reason is because there's I think there's Sting Silvers. I think is what the name of
no
the.
idea.
There's a lure company called Sting Silver, real popular on the East Coast. Like all the East Coast guys throw Sting Silvers, which if I'm saying that right, I don't know, but that's basically what they are. They're this metal with the treble hook, painted like that. And this company, Bob Anderson and his son, they were like tired of paying the price because evidently they're very expensive. The Sting Silver is like, we can make this lure a lot cheaper. And so they made this and they called it ES lures because it's saying, we can make it cheaper.
Which is awesome.
I know.
That is
isn't it?
awesome.
Yeah. And I started using them in the Outer Banks like a little over 2 years ago and loved them. And they're just a great lure for the beach.
Because I mean, I don't know when they started, but I never knew anything about them until Matt Ninja Tackle brought a bunch over here, and I guess after you used them up there with him, and then they just like completely blew up here on the Gulf Coast, like out of nowhere.
Yeah. No.
But they are super good lures, so
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
I can tell you right now, these will have no problem catching fish.
Oh yeah, it's a great lure. It
Yeah.
mimics good. You just work it fast, just reel it in, burn it. Well, we got Greg Mag Dog fishing with us
Yes.
today. He's been around a minute, man.
he
Thanks
has.
for having me on.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. I feel like I haven't seen him forever.
Well, neither one of y'all seen me in a while. I had a really busy season, and then I had a little health issue at the
I
end
saw
of the
that. I
season.
saw that on Facebook.
And so it's 2023 was a great year and ended up bad. But
You got married in 23,
I
right?
did.
You
I
got
did
married?
get married.
Is that what caused the health problems? Or?
Actually,
new
that's
wife?
what saved my life. she has a medical background.
Oh, good,
Okay.
good.
Yeah, she actually saved my life. She takes care of me. I'm pretty sure she's getting tired of me right now. It's the off season, so I'm home
Yeah.
a lot more.
She's like, "Can you please
Yeah.
go run some trips?"
Right, exactly.
So
Well, how's the health going now?
yeah, where
Like,
you at right
how's-
now with it?
Just got back from the cardiologist today, and still not out of the woods. We've got a procedure I got to get done before the fishing season starts, so I go next month to get it done, and hopefully I'll be ready to rock and roll for the March, April, and May
Yeah?
pompano season.
Good deal.
Well, you're a pretty tough dude, so
Yeah,
I think you got
I know
this.
you
Yeah,
out there getting jacked.
I know, man.
Like, dang.
yeah, all that.
Matt's over here trying to catch up with
I
you.
know. I got some work to do.
He's been trying to bulk
I'm
too.
actually heading in the other direction.
I need some
now.
advice.
I want to do a
Cut.
triathlon.
Oh yeah? Oh, okay. Right on, dude.
So I'm gonna do the sprint part. I'm too old to do a full triathlon. But I did the sprint well, I ddidn't do it. My wife did. and-
So what's the sprint? Is it like a shortened?
yes, it's a
triathlon?
shorter course, 2-mile run, 300-meter swim, and 14-mile bike ride.
Okay, I got
So
you.
it's not that bad.
Gotcha.
I'm
Not
just a
that
little
bad.
bit heavy
Yeah.
for the running part.
Right.
I'm getting on with the swim, getting on with the biking, but that running,
It's brutal, man. I started working out a lot last year, and then I kind of fell off the wagon there, and I'm getting back into it. I'm like a little over a week back in, and I have a Peloton bike and the treadmill.
Nice.
Like the bike, I do fine, and it still kicks my butt, but I start running on that treadmill. I'm like, that's a lot of weight to be running on.
Running's
And
tough.
running's brutal.
Are you in your garage doing
Yeah.
that? It's harder, in my opinion, to run in the cold, like when it's cold like this, the cold
Right.
air, than it is in the heat. I know.
I know I've
there's-
been having to like put on a hoodie or something to run in because it's so cold in my
Well,
garage.
it's like your lungs, and we're not used to it. The
It
cold,
burns,
yeah, like the humidity and the heat. Like our bodies.
That's how it was when we did
podcast.
podcast. When we did CrossFit last week, even just that little bit of running, like I could feel it in my throat burning.
It
from
hurts. Yeah,
running in that cold air.
give me triple digits.
Yeah,
I'm running that.
I agree. I'm ready for some warm weather.
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I cannot deal with the cold weather. I mean, it shuts me down completely. As far as working out, fishing, I just want to stay inside.
I know.
So
Me and
you've
you
worked
both.
out like the majority of your life, right? Like some type of lifting.
I'd say about 30 years off and on. A couple of years ago, I started getting back real serious at it. Had a couple of injuries, pulled muscles, things that happen when you get my age.
Sure.
And, you know, it put me off for 2 or 3 months, and then I'd get back at it. So, yes, been working out a long time.
What kind of is it like bodybuilding type stuff? Is that kind of the splits you do?
I'm always bulking.
Always a permanent bulk.
Yeah. So I like moving the big weights. I like eating, and I like getting big. But, you know, running these trips up and down that beach when it's hot and you weigh 250 pounds, it's tough.
It's brutal.
My
Yeah.
heart rate gets up real fast. So
Well, you look like you've lost some weight since last time I've seen you.
lost, since the last time you saw me, probably 30 pounds.
Okay, yeah, that's a decent amount.
So
So let me ask you, like, what do you bench press?
my overall max lifetime or now?
Yeah. What's
Both.
there you go. What's both?
375 is my all time.
Dang.
Now I'll be lucky to get 225.
Yeah. Just with everything that's kind of
375.
coming. It's a lot of weight.
That is a lot of weight.
And I changed my workout. I'm doing less weight, more reps,
Sure.
and more sets.
Yeah.
Where before it was less reps, higher weight, you know, a whole lot of sets.
Yeah.
Changing it up.
Yeah.
Just to get, I want to be cut, but I don't want to lose what I got either.
Sure. Lose that strength.
Right.
So, well, that's good, man. Working out's so important. Build muscle.
So how you liking it?
I love it. I'm totally.
He's obsessed.
And I do the CrossFit stuff, which I know is it's a lot. It's weird. You know, it's different. A lot of people have their opinions on that. But,
I got a lot of
but
friends who do.
but there's a lot of lifting in it too. You know, it's got all the Olympic lifts, and you know, it's got some bodybuilding parts about it. You know, but like it's a lot of cardio and that kind of deal. But
Well, your before and after pictures are amazing.
it's crazy,
So
dude.
It's actually worked.
Yeah.
Haven't seen your before and after pictures yet.
Well, he's got like
Well,
before,
so-
after, kind of going back to
I know.
before. You know.
From the, I was gonna do 75 hard. Are you familiar with that?
Nope.
So it's a trend that's been going around TikTok and I'm kind of all social media, but I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name now. But it's basically a 75-day challenge of no alcohol, follow a diet, any kind of diet, nothing strict. You just got to pick something, stick to it. Drink a gallon of water a day, read 10 pages of like a self-help motivational business type book, work out twice a day. Technically, it's supposed to be one inside, one outside. Did I say drink a gallon of water a
Yeah,
day?
yeah.
So I think that's it. And
That's hard to do too.
it was a lot. So I started that sometime last year, maybe August. I think it was the beginning of August. I got 30 days in, and that I have the before and after pictures just in that 30 days. There was a pretty big difference. I mean, I didn't have a six pack or anything, but there's a big difference. I lost
will
like
one
20,
day, Brad.
I lost like 20 pounds in
Nice.
30 days. And then we were in Nashville, and I didn't drink. I didn't drink in Nashville, but again, to actually do the 75 hard, you have to do the 2 workouts a day. And I missed one of the workouts because we were busy, like staying in a hotel, going to my parents' house, went to a football game, and so I missed my workout. I'm like, I can't say that like I've done the 75 hard. And then I just like had some beer, and then missed 2 days, then missed a week, and then
Well, you would have had to start it all over again.
Yeah,
the
to
next
say
day.
I did 75 hard. Now,
the truth
the
of
right thing to have done would be, okay, I didn't do 75 hard, but I should still keep working out, still
right.
keep eating better,
Yeah.
not drink as much. But as soon as I started going that decline, I fell right back into.
It doesn't take long, and even me, whenever I miss like a couple of weeks, getting back
Yeah.
at it is tough. And y'all know the fishing season.
Oh, yeah.
Trying
Right.
to get a work in every day and run trips and work another job.
Dude, there's no way
Yeah.
I could have done it in that when I was in
Running
that
the
season.
full-time guiding.
Yeah, full time guiding. It,
Yeah.
it just sucks every bit of life out
Yeah.
of you, especially in the summer.
Oh
Like,
yeah, and see, y'all were running day trips.
Oh, yeah.
I refused to run day trips in
It's
the
hot.
summer. I did it my first couple of years, and it would literally drink about 9 o'clock. It's like
Oh
100
yeah.
degrees.
Oh,
in the
for
morning.
real. Yeah,
Right.
you have to be off the beach.
You know,
Basically.
when they're on vacation, oh, let's give it 2 more hours. I'm like,
Yeah, it's hot.
Like, I'm about to die.
yeah.
And I
still
got another
enough
one this
trip.
afternoon.
I know.
So-
I know. I gotta go.
Exactly.
Luckily, I mean, y'all definitely went more full time and hardcore with the guides than I did. I never really had to have that as my main income. So I never was doing 2 a days, 6, 7 days a week like what y'all have done. But that's a tough business. And how long have you been doing it now?
I think going on 5 years.
5 years.
Yep.
It's a lot of trips you've ran.
Because I started the year after you stopped.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, I stopped in 2020. So
Okay.
so you're going on 4 years.
Yeah,
if you
because I
stopped
did
then.
it the first year you were still guiding because we'd run into each other,
That's right.
and then you decided to go YouTube full time, which
Yeah.
has been good to you.
Yeah, it's been a good decision. It's just, guiding, you don't get to fish the way that you want to fish all the time. You know what I mean? You have to kind of just chase whatever's biting. Whereas like YouTube, you have to kind of change it up so you get to be more diverse and chase different things. And so that's what I enjoyed about being able to have the freedom to do what I want to do. And you experienced it when you were guiding.
Yeah.
And for the little bit of time that you did, and we'd be like on the pier
I know.
catching jacks or something, and you're running a freaking beach trip.
It's such a weird transition because I remember like when I just started YouTube and was like not making any money and you were guiding and I was like, man, if I could just guide, like that would be awesome.
I think it's an amazing
I even
job.
messaged
Yeah.
you and was like, dude, I'll run some trips for you. You just take a little bit
Did
of
I respond?
yeah. Because we were kind of friends. Then.
Okay,
It was
all
after I moved here.
Okay, I was about to say.
But I don't think you were really interested in it because you didn't want to like grow a big guide
Right.
business. And I was basically asking if I could work for you.
Yeah.
I don't
remember
and so you weren't really interested in it, but I was like, man, he's just out there fishing every day. And then finally I was able to start guiding and wasn't really working. And I was like, man, if I could just get out of guiding and just go do it I
Like
want
you
every
do.
day.
Yeah.
And now I don't guide and we just fish every day. And I'm like, man, if
that-
we could just like do podcasts instead of fishing, it's such a weird circle of like everything I wanted to do, I was actually able to do. But then like, you always think like, I'm going to hit this one spot. Like I've made it and I'm satisfied, but like you never get there. Like
So-
there's always a new goal. Once you reach that, there's like always
Absolutely.
something else.
There was a
Absolutely.
quote, one of these, like, I see all these motivational people on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. And I'm going to botch this up, but it was like the goals that you said would make you happy, you've already achieved.
Yeah.
You're already there. And it's like, and when you think about that, you're like, dang, like there's so many things that I've achieved that I have thought like if I could be there, I'd be happy. But like
Right.
you get there and you're like, it's not what you thought it would be,
Right.
or it's not enough. It's still not where you are ultimately trying to get. Anyway,
Right.
there's a difference. And I was talking to Courtney about this. There's a difference between like being content with your life, because like I'm genuinely content with my life. Like I love my life. I have a great life. Like if you sit back and look at what I get to do in the life that I have, it's amazing. But it's okay to still strive to be great. Like
Absolutely.
there's still
Absolutely.
there's a difference. It's not like that I'm unhappy and like unsatisfied with what I have. I'm content, but at the same time I still desire to be
Yeah.
great. And there's still more to do.
Yeah.
So there's a
I think
balance
like for
there.
me, like what we've been able to do like 5 years ago. So I've moved here basically 5 years ago this month, and like being here, like I never would have even dreamed that like this could even be a possibility.
Right.
And so now it's like, okay, I was able to do all that. So 5 years from now, like I should be able to do like so much more. So
Right.
that's where it's like, if I was able to do that, like you can do more.
Absolutely. I mean, you when you jumped on the bandwagon, dude, you were like wide open. I mean, you deserve to be where you've gotten.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I mean, I look back and I'm like, God, why didn't I stick with it? But, like you said, you get to a point and it's never enough, but you can make it where you're at, but you just have to keep pushing. That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
And that works in relationships too. I'm content with my relationship, but that's not where I want to stay.
That's right.
I want our relationship to grow and be stronger.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So while it's great, it can be better.
that's right.
Yeah.
'Cause
100%.
everything can always be better.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to like figure out to that dynamic because you don't want to be like, yeah, this sucks, I want more, but you know what I mean. Like you still have to be happy with what you have, but
Exactly.
still working towards better.
You got to have goals.
Yeah,
For sure.
nothing wrong with that. But yeah, Brad, we've talked about that a lot. Like Brad grabbed the opportunity by the balls,
Yeah.
and that's why he's where he is. You know,
Right.
and like because there's plenty of people that had the opportunities that you had. I mean, but they just
Exactly.
didn't.
I had that opportunity.
You know, they just didn't. You know, actually fall through. So.
I text Brent way before I started YouTubing, and he's like, just start recording now, record everything. He said, start where you're at with what you got. If all you got's a phone, use your phone. He goes, just make sure you're putting up a video a week. I didn't do that.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's hard.
It doesn't sound like one video a week, but like to do that forever. I mean, literally like for an indefinite amount of time, it's hard to do.
Especially in the fishing, because like we've talked about this a lot too, but in fishing and YouTube, we don't know that we're gonna get a video. We might go fish all day long. Like I remember this might have been 2 years ago. Me and you went and fished the beach trying to catch a black drum during winter when fishing sucks. We literally fished all day.
It was like 2 days.
Yeah.
Like I think we did it for 2
Yeah,
days.
because we did Mobile Street, and then we went to Shell Beach, then we started back at Mobile Street, back to Shell Beach, and then you caught like one black drum at the end of that second day.
Yeah.
Like got the video.
We were drinking
But
beer.
it's like-
Courtney like was out doing something.
Yeah.
You're Courtney.
Yeah.
And you called her and were like, "Hey, do you mind bringing us some beer?" And so she brought a cooler. We had like a 12-pack, and we were just sitting back drinking beer. It was, and we were all. I think we were gonna pack up. We were like literally
Probably.
that close to being like, screw it, and we hooked up, caught the one fish. But it took
Yeah.
like 48 hours.
Yeah.
It felt like
Right.
fishing.
So
Basically.
trying to get that one a week when it might this time of year it might take you 4 days of fishing just to even get a video.
Right.
Now in the summer it's a lot easier because there's a lot more opportunities. But
Well, I was going to take my gear. Well, years ago, I did take my gear with me when I would have clients. That turned into be a nightmare.
You
Especially-
talking about filming on a
Yes.
trip?
yeah,
It's hard. Like
It's almost impossible for me because I'm an entertainer. You know, I'm a fishing guide, but you also got to
That's
entertain
right.
your guests. You
Yeah.
know, and you know I can relate to a lot of people. I've done a lot of shit in my time, so I can relate to a lot of people. But when I'm having to stop, you know, we get a fish on. I stop what I'm doing, go grab the camera, come back. Especially these kids.
right.
I mean, and if anything can go wrong, it goes wrong at night. So I just quit taking the camera and just stuck to guide.
Yeah,
So
it is tough, and I filmed a few trips, and you just always felt like I was taken away from the customer. Like,
yeah,
I need to be talking to them, and even if
not worrying about all this.
yeah,
stuff.
like it needs to be educational and like
Yeah.
you said, entertaining and all that. And if I'm filming, either somebody's losing out, either the
Yeah.
customer's losing out or whoever's going to watch this video is
yep.
losing out because I'm not putting 100% into both of them.
Right.
Like, you
It's
just
a-
can't.
Yeah, it sucks. I didn't do it a lot. I did it some, and some of those videos actually did well. But the problem is too, you don't know. Obviously, you can ask the clients, "Hey, do you care?" And most of them are like, "Yeah, no, that's fine." But you don't know how they're going to be on camera. Either like, do they have
Right.
any type of personality whatsoever? You know, like there were plenty of times I filmed, and like they even wanted me to post it. And I'm like, this was like the most boring video ever. Like,
you know, they can be the most talkative person, but as soon as you cut that camera, they
I know,
like
I know.
that.
It's different.
Yeah.
But my biggest video still to date was a
All
trip.
those women.
Were those girls? It was 4 girls. Their husbands bought them the trip, like to go. None of them had basically fished ever before, so it was a very entertaining video. And like we had a great day fishing too, so it worked out. Like we hammered fish and caught all kinds of different
Nice.
stuff. So like and they were just loving it and having a great time, and they were very entertaining. So like so if you could have like that kind of group every time,
Right.
I mean you'd have a
Bachelor parties and
yeah,
bachelorette
like
parties.
that's I mean that would be if you could capitalize on that and like that market.
Yeah.
You could do really well. Like
Right,
I mean
for
because
sure.
it'd be very entertaining, and they'd be all about it. They would love it too.
Yeah.
So I have a business idea now.
there you
There you
go.
go. There's
Matt's
goal.
getting back
That
into
next
guiding.
goal.
Yeah.
You wanna book a trip with
Bachelorette
Matt?
parties only.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That'd be
But
good.
well, Greg, you said that you run mostly night trips now,
I do.
and so when y'all are going out, you're targeting like redfish and sharks.
Redfish, sharks, black drum. I can't advertise sharks because it's prohibited in Alabama on the public beaches, and I do fish the public beaches. So we catch a lot of sharks, but
On accident.
I'm actually going for redfish.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I can't help it if I've got a 10-aught
Yeah,
hook and a
that's
steel
right.
leader and
Yeah.
a 2-pound mullet on there. But
Yeah.
you know, whatever the clients want, that's what I'm gearing to. If they want to catch sharks, of course, I can't guarantee any fish.
That's right.
Right.
But you know, I have a pretty good chance certain times of year to catch sharks or redfish or pompano is still not my thing. I can catch them. Well, I don't catch them. My client catches them.
Right.
Right.
I'm pretty much giving up on fishing for myself, but I know enough. I make sure my clients catch fish.
Yeah. So what's a trip for you look like? Like when do y'all start? How long is it?
We
For
usually get
anybody that's
started
interested.
during the summer months, and it starts from June to December for my summer trips. And we get started about 7 o'clock at night. That way, people are cleared off the beach. The temperature's cooling off, and we can get out there and relax and have a good time. And we'll usually fish to midnight.
Nice.
If the fishing's slow, I will drag it out another hour if I think we have a shot at another fish. Or, we've had times where we limit it out within an hour, and some of my old customers like, you've earned your money.
Yeah.
We're good.
We're ready to go home and go to bed.
Exactly.
What do you do about mosquitoes? They got to be bad
Oh,
out
my
there.
God, dude.
Yeah, what's the game plan there?
We had at least 3 days this year when the wind quit blowing. It was 85, 90 degrees outside. You're pouring sweat. I left a pint low on blood. And I had every kind of mosquito spray you could think of. And
They're bad out there.
Yeah.
Like,
They're horrible.
like I've gotten out there. I don't fish at night, but getting out there early in the morning
yeah,
before the sun comes up. Some days when that wind's not blowing in the summertime, dude,
if that wind's not blowing,
you're gonna get hammered.
that's the first thing I look at when I'm checking in with my clients is I'm checking the weather, but I'm also checking that wind because that wind direction is a big deal with catching the fish and keeping the
Sure.
mosquitoes
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. You want a little bit of wind.
Right. Oh, yeah, definitely. And we had about 3 really bad nights where we got ate up by mosquitoes.
Did you have
I bet.
clients out there?
Oh, yeah.
What was that like? Were they?
Well, the first trip, we were actually catching fish. We were on the point down in Fort Morgan, and there was a little bit of a breeze, and we were catching he was catching black drum after black drum. He's like, I want to catch a shark. So we left there, went on around to the Gulf side, no wind whatsoever. We left biting fish to go catch a shark. The only thing we left with was about 100 mosquito bites each.
That's
And
ridiculous.
my
But he got a
clothes-
shark though.
we hooked the shark that night. Actually, it was a monster shark.
Yeah.
And broke a 300-pound leader.
Dang.
Now those leaders don't normally break. I think it was a fault in the leader or some kind of kink, but it was it already pulled off about 300 yards of 80-pound test with pretty much lockdown drag.
Jeez.
It was a big bull shark.
And you're doing all cast out stuff, right? For those
Right,
sharks. All
right.
spinning gear.
I looked at getting a drone, that Swell Pro. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a client from Wisconsin bring one down, and I
yeah.
thought, man, I got to have this thing.
Right.
Went and priced. I was like,
I know.
Yeah.
A little bunch.
Well, they've been giving some out, even to some of the guys that aren't really doing much on YouTube. You ought to hit them up, let them know you're a guide in the area. They've been sending a bunch.
Nice.
Blaine just got one.
okay.
Arrington just got one.
Now, is that the drone or is that the boat?
The drone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it because Swell Pro is the same company that has the boats too, right? Or is it? Just,
No, I think there's
there's.
AquaCat is a boat, and then there's one other one.
I got you.
No,
Well, see,
Swell Pro's
and here's the problem with that though. Technically, like most of the Alabama beaches, you're not supposed to fly
yeah,
drones.
especially where you're
technically.
fishing a lot.
Yeah, it's like because it's
It's
all the
totally
protected-
against the law at Fort Morgan.
Yeah.
Right, you're not supposed to.
Right.
I mean, people do it,
Right.
but like if you go out there once
Yeah,
and do it,
that's true.
you can
If
probably
you're
get
out
away.
there every night,
But if you're out there doing it every day, it's
they'll
like
probably get
that.
you.
Because I've had so many people ask me that, they're like, why don't you? Because I've never used drones in my videos, and I've never like to even get B-roll, and I've never used it to drop baits or anything. But I'm like, it's if I'm out there consistently doing it, I'm gonna get caught. Like
Yeah.
I have some drone footage that I've done in the
Right.
past, like with people that have drones, and like we throw it up, and we did it for Salt Strong.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like if I'm out there every day,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get caught, get
Man, a
tagged.
guy was so strong the other day at the bar. Yeah, he took down my information. He wants to do some kind of interview as well. I thought that was pretty
Where
cool.
we're here.
Yeah.
Who what? You remember who it was?
No, I can't remember his name, but he's heading up some division in the this area.
I've seen
Young
that.
guy,
They've been
young
emailing
guy.
me about some local chapter meeting or something in
some kind of
Alabama.
local chapter.
You don't know who it is?
I think his name was. I've been deleting the emails. I think it's. Sorry, Salt
Sorry,
Strong.
Salt Strong.
I think his name was Mark.
Yeah. Huh, I didn't know about that.
Salt Strong.
We can ask Cameron.
Yeah.
Cameron will let us know what's up.
Mark Dunham.
Yeah, I wouldn't remember this guy's name even if he was.
That's probably him.
That's
told to
probably
me.
it.
I'd know if I saw him. He's kind of a small frame guy, young.
Like
like
this guy. That's a lot of the Salt Strong guys. They're like young and
Yeah.
small.
Well, they know what their objective is. That's to make money.
Yeah,
Right.
Salt Strong's doing a great job. They built a great brand.
Absolutely.
I mean, best educational platform
Right.
out there for fishing.
Sure.
You know, it's-
100%.
I almost jumped on board with them when they first got started with the master program.
yeah.
And I thought to myself, you know what? I want to do this on my own. I should have bought the book.
Yeah.
I still can't catch a trout consistently. I mean, I can catch redfish.
And now, do you do any inshore fishing, like on a kayak or a boat?
I not lately. I actually sold my kayak, my fishing kayak, and bought a paddleboard because I wanted to be this big fly fisherman on a paddleboard. That didn't work out.
You fly fish?
I do.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's something I never got into.
Actually, I fell off the paddleboard last March in Shelby Lake fly fishing. Lost my phone, lost my JBL
Nice.
I
speaker.
think I remember you posting about
Oh my
that.
gosh, that was an expensive fall. And then Verizon brought me out a phone literally the next day, handed it to me and said, I need your code to your old phone. I said, I use biometrics. He goes, well, there's a 4-digit code I'm going to need to transfer your information. Long story short, went through all the codes, wrong one, locked my phone down, deleted all.
Nice. What's up? You were gonna probably have to do that after you dropped it in the shrimp.
I know. that was a rough bet.
You have Verizon?
Yeah.
The same thing.
Gotta love it.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I didn't. Do you have Verizon?
AT&T,
AT&T.
which sucks.
How's your service at your house?
Sucks.
Okay.
But I think Verizon sucks there too.
Verizon's terrible.
We're right beside the airport.
up there on 4.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, we're right. Yeah, I think by the airport, I think that has something to do with
But
it.
I think a lot of people have, because we had AT&T in Nashville, terrible. Moved down here, got Verizon, terrible. But I think Verizon's better in Nashville and AT&T's better down here. The good thing about AT&T, which you don't do much offshore, but all the oil rigs use AT&T. So if you're offshore and you're close to a rig, you can pick up service off the oil rig.
That's pretty nice.
I didn't know that.
You know what's frustrating though about cell phone companies? Like, why do you have bad service
I know.
now? Like, how is that even?
Like, this is
like,
2024.
why? You're in the mid. Like, I
And
can.
we
be in
just
the-
had a hurricane and y'all just replaced all the towers.
I know. I'm like,
We should have all the best
I'm
shit.
in the middle of freaking Foley
Yeah.
and don't have service.
Right.
Yeah.
That play. I'm like, what?
It's crazy.
I don't understand that. And the amount of money that they charge is like, can I like deduct from my bill
Right.
the times that I don't have service?
Right.
Because if I did, you wouldn't be getting a whole lot of money. Like it's
Yeah.
like I don't have it at my dang house. Like what the crap?
I know if I'm not on Wi-Fi at my house, I literally can't do anything.
Yeah,
Can't send a
like,
text message.
How?
Nothing.
I mean, I'm the same way.
Terrible.
Like my Wi-Fi. Yeah, if our Wi-Fi goes out, I can't do anything. Not that it's a big deal. I mean, it's not like we're gonna die, but you know, we feel that way.
Without internet.
And it's sketchy all over the island like that. I can't figure it out. I mean, you would think as small as this place is, and they just put a brand new
So
antenna.
here's my
Yeah.
theory. I don't know how this stuff works, but this is a Matthewism. All right. I think that they put in towers and whatever it is that gives service to an area based on population. I'm assuming because obviously that you can overload those things. Like you
Yeah.
have to. It's the amount of people, and they probably judge this area based on population. But a majority of the year,
tourists.
there's a lot more people here. Just like when you
100 times.
you know,
more
like
than
when
our
you
population.
when you go to a sporting event, you
Yeah.
can't use your phone. Like even
Too
though
many people trying to use it.
because you got too many people in one area that are all on the same network or whatever.
Yeah.
So we have a customer, Brad. Is
That guy looks familiar.
yeah,
What's up, man? I don't know where from.
yeah. We don't get too many customers this time.
I
of year.
know.
So
It can be a little slow.
especially like with the crappy weather that we've been having.
Well, I'll just start dropping in about once a week.
Come on, man.
Browse the shelves.
Yeah.
You should.
I only
we-
got
Give
about-
our employees
I
something to
only
do.
got
I know.
about $40,000 worth of equipment already. And I'm recently married. I'd like to stay that way.
yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, you get a 10% discount here, so just come whenever.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, I got a notification and we got some breaking news.
Breaking?
Breaking news from ESPN.
Oh yeah.
Any ideas?
No clue.
Nick Saban retired.
No.
Oh,
Are you serious?
Yep.
Dead serious.
Yes.
Dang. That's heavy, dude.
Alabama is done. Are you an Alabama fan or Auburn?
Auburn.
Okay. Y'all
We're
two are
al- we're
Auburn.
already
I'm
done.
an already. I know, yeah. Hey, I feel positive. I think Hugh Freeze's gonna bring things around.
Yeah.
I think he's the right guy for the job. That's crazy, man.
You know,
Nick Saban.
I thought that if they would have gone and won the national championship, he'd be done. I thought he might want to try to get another one, but I'm not surprised by it.
Yeah,
Because he's like
it's
what,
becoming-
72, 73,
Yeah.
something. He's got like a
but he's got
$15 million
so much
house in
drive.
Jupiter.
Like I mean, I do feel like he has let a little bit of wind out of his sails the last few years.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he's not quite as intense as he was. So maybe he is ready, but sometimes those people are just it's hard for them to leave, even when they're older, and they like do this and then they die. You know what I mean? Like a lot of big time coaches like that, whenever they retire, they
Even players,
don't live
there's
long.
some players like that.
It's like
they
their whole
can't-
life.
They can't seem to retire. They'll wait till
Yeah.
they fall on their face and then like, okay, now I'm done.
Yeah.
But he hated like the new way thing. Like he hated the transfer portal.
Oh, yeah.
He hated the what's the NIL stuff. All of that, like how college football is today. Like he hates it.
Yeah.
He's so over it. So I don't get it. But he did buy that house, I think last
Yeah.
year in
Jupiter or something.
Yeah.
Like 15 million or
Which
whatever.
when that happened, it's like, okay.
It's coming
Yeah,
soon.
this man.
Jupiter, Florida.
Yeah.
Is
Dude.
that where we're fishing next?
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay.
Have you ever fished down there?
No, but I'll give him a call when he gets settled in.
You call, call. Hey Nick,
Hey, Nick. What's up?
we need a place to stay.
It's Greg.
You got any snook in front of your house? You ever caught a snook?
Not on purpose. I've caught one. Actually, I caught one in my cast net on Little Lagoon.
What? Really?
Yeah, it's about that big.
Are you dead
took
serious?
a picture of it and sent it to Chris over at Sam's, and he was like, "Yep, that's a snook."
You still got a picture of it somewhere?
That was
He lost everything on his phone.
Oh,
So all that
dang.
evidence. So it could be the truth.
I believe you. I know that like there have been a few caught here. It's obviously not like anywhere close to common,
Right.
but it's happened.
Well, the cold water, when the cold weather went south a few years ago, it killed thousands and thousands
Yeah.
of them. So our temperature here gets way too cold for
Oh,
snook.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't make it.
But I do get curious how they get here. I mean, when they're
it is
3
weird.
or 4 inches long,
Yeah.
they swim up here.
No,
Yeah.
no, like that's the thing. The ones that I've seen have been small. I mean, some of them have been, like that. I
That's
guess.
good size.
The ones that like Steven caught, he posted, and I've seen there's been some guys that have caught some on the west side of the bay. Is that right? West side of the bay, yeah. Like some over there. So anyway, I've seen some, but yes, to catch one in your cast net that's like inches long,
Yeah.
like that's
It's like there's a mama somewhere.
yeah.
That's what I keep thinking.
I mean,
But
You sure it wasn't a little ladyfish?
No, I know the bait fish. That's my bait.
I believe you. Yeah, but it is interesting. Obviously, the question is like because we catch a lot of permit too, and everybody's like, "Oh, that may be a new thing," and we don't really know. I mean, I've only been fishing here for 10 years, which is not that long. I mean, relative to obviously how long fishing's been happening here, and social media has really only been a big deal around here for 6-7 years. Where
Right.
you've documented as much as we have with the groups on Facebook and YouTube and all that, where you see more like people actually catching these things. Whereas before, even in the early 2000s, if people were out there catching permit, you wouldn't really know unless you were friends with that person.
And those people probably aren't telling nobody.
You're right. Yeah,
And
at
they're
that
not
time.
posting it on Facebook.
Right,
IDing
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
either. They're probably
So-
assuming it's
Permit may have been being caught here forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's more people fishing now here than there ever has been before. Back in the day, there wasn't nearly as many people fishing the beach like there
Right.
are now, which is where you typically catch them. So anyway, it's interesting to see, but at the same time, and people are like, oh, climate change or water temps or whatever, what things are changing, but it's like, are they really, or do we just have more documentation of what's actually happening out here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I come up with my own theory is just like everybody else, with all the pollution in South Florida, those fish have got to go somewhere.
Right.
I mean, I would love for
Get
us
the
to
hell
have
out of Dodge.
snook and more permit.
Dude.
Right.
If we had snook here, like
Oh, dude.
this fishery would be insane.
Right.
Be sick.
We have a lot of tarpon here.
Oh, yeah.
that's the state fish. I couldn't believe it.
Did you? I know. Did you know that?
I feel like I've heard that before, but
The tarpon.
Yeah,
is
the Alabama state fish is a tarpon.
Yep.
it is
Isn't that weird?
You'd think that'd be Florida.
Yeah.
What's Florida's state fish?
I don't know.
Peacock bass.
Probably. I mean,
Snakehead.
yeah. Bullseye snakehead. Are you looking it up?
Fish.
Hey, more education. So on our last podcast, we
Sailfish
sailfish is a state fish.
for saltwater.
Okay, so we just
Freshwater's a largemouth.
okay. So Greg, we just posted a podcast yesterday, and we talked about how much protein is in sperm.
Well, how about that? I mean, I don't.
Haven't you always been wondering that?
I'm actually my education level. I don't. That's not in there, and I'm good.
Yeah, no, we did say we're like, you're gonna learn something, and if you already knew that, that's kind of weird. But you're gonna learn something on this podcast.
So we're gonna tell everybody for every podcast from now on. Fun fact: sperm and protein.
Yep, and it does.
But there's not that much. Protein.
There's not that much protein in sperm, in case you're
Well,
wondering. It's
good,
only
'cause I
like,
don't want some bodybuilder coming up to me.
yeah, I'd be like, hey man, you know what you need to do.
Right, right. You're looking a little puny.
Yeah.
There. That's not gonna happen.
No more protein
What,
shakes.
so when you would say you were in maybe your peak bodybuilding, working out, what was your protein intake? Do you know?
Oh my gosh,
Did you
around
track it?
300 grams a day.
300. Holy smokes!
Actually, it's probably higher than that, and it's super expensive.
Oh
You're
yeah.
eating literally every 3 hours, at least 80 to 100 grams of protein per meal. You can break it down some.
It's so
But
hard.
That's a massive amount of chicken, tuna.
Yeah.
I mean, anything that had a lot of protein in it, I was eating it. Then I got onto the
Bull testicles. They have a lot of protein.
Do they really? Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna run down there and get some.
Rocky Mountain oysters.
Right. I'll pass.
Stick with the chicken and tuna.
But yeah, I get a kick out of people talking about these women that work out. They're going to get all bulked up. Bulking
It's hard.
is hard.
Yep.
You have to eat to
Very
bulk.
intentional.
You have to eat to lose weight. So it just matters on what side
That's
of the
right.
fence you want to be.
Yep.
But if you want to get big, you've got to eat big. And that includes calories. You're going to put on some fat.
Yep. It's hard.
But it is.
And people like if you're trying to be disciplined in getting bigger and eating enough to do that, it's in my opinion way harder to do than to lose weight. And a lot of people are like, you can't say that because people,
Right.
because obviously there's way more people overweight that are trying to lose weight and it's
Right.
hard for them. But like, it's way easier and less expensive to just not eat, than it is to
Right.
try to actually eat and be intentional about it. It's a hassle. Like, it's such a hassle to have to eat continually and make sure you have your protein and all the supplements because you basically have to eat, like you said, every 2-3 hours.
And
something.
And then those that are super dedicated, if you ever look in their refrigerator, it's meal prep
Oh,
for
yeah.
7 days straight.
Yeah.
And they'll spend an entire day meal prepping.
Yeah.
And you have to do that to monitor, that way you're not constantly counting your calories
Right.
or your
You just know. Yeah.
carb.
You eat
Yeah.
the same thing every day. You just know.
Exactly.
Yep.
We
Season's
lived in
better.
Nashville. Our neighbor, he was pretty jacked, and every Sunday he would fill up his entire grill of chicken breasts and just grill a ton of chicken for
for the
whole
week. Yeah.
Chicken is not as inexpensive as it used to be, but
Right.
46 grams of protein in one breast.
It's pretty.
You can butterfly that and make, get 2 meals out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your body can only break down about 30 grams every couple of hours. So, unless you're,
Yeah.
Eddie Hall,
Right. Yeah.
and his
that guy.
body probably breaks down 100 per hour.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He is huge.
Giant dude.
Yep.
That's cool.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah, I've learned a lot about that stuff. It's still hard. Like I'm admittedly not like I'm trying to get bigger, but I'm admittedly not disciplined enough. Like I try,
Yeah.
but I'm just as bad as the person trying to lose weight that's not consistent. Yeah, I'm that bad. Like
Well,
it's hard.
the good thing about you're cut, you're lean. So if you can still bulk and not put on any fat, it just be at a slower rate.
So yeah, and I am okay with that. Like I'm okay with it being a process. So like that's kind of where I've settled into. I'm not. I don't have to do this 30-day bulk. Where I put on 10 pounds in 30 days, which is like really really hard to do. So I'm okay
No,
with
it's not.
it taking some time. No, it's not. That's true. That's true. You could do it in other
Depends
ways.
on how you want to go about
That's
it.
right. I go eat McDonald's for 3 meals a day. And
No sperm.
yeah.
We should switch
No
diets for
mountain
30 days. We should switch diets for 30 days and see what happens to both of us.
I would probably feel like crap.
Probably.
Yeah.
I probably would too.
I mean, both of them have their downside. When I eat a lot, I'm very sluggish.
Sure.
It affects my daily routine.
Yeah.
When I cut, it's the same thing. When I
Yeah.
cut carbs, running up and down the beaches, I'm
You
exhausted.
get
No
weak.
energy.
Yeah.
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 So I just eat when I'm hungry, and I'm still trying to get in the habit of not eating as much when I'm full to stop.
Stop, yeah.
And to get that mindset that it's on my plate, I need to eat it.
Right.
You know, I grew up in an average home, and it was required. You clean
They
the plate.
eat it all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's hard to break some of those habits
Sure.
you learn as a child, but learning that's not good for you.
Did you grow up down here at the beach?
I did not. I grew up. I was actually born in Montgomery, Alabama.
Okay.
I don't know if I do
So-
that. But, you know, that's
Y'all
where I'm
close.
from.
Yeah.
Wetumpka.
Yeah, Wetumpka.
Yeah.
Well, I was living in Prattville when you were living in. We had a big farm out there.
How long have you been down here?
8 years.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were down here longer than that.
Yeah, how long have you been here? Because I moved here 2 years after you.
Yeah. Well, we moved here in 2012.
Okay.
So, what is that? That'll be 12 years this year,
Yeah.
I guess. Is that right?
So I've been here 8, 9 years.
Yeah.
And really kept up with it. When I first moved here, I wasn't fishing though.
You were a truck driver,
Yeah,
right?
I was truck driving
Yeah.
and YouTubing on the weekends, and had a couple of people that brought up the guiding business, and you were the only one I knew doing it.
Yeah.
I think there was an older fella doing it.
Well, David Thornton
Yeah.
had been doing it for years, and Dusty Hayes.
Yeah, and Dusty.
He because I learned a lot from him.
Right.
But neither one of them like were promoting it necessarily. Like it was just if you kind of knew them, or
Right.
you know, they didn't have a lot of presence on social media and stuff. So, you know, once I entered the scene and started guiding and throwing it up on YouTube and Facebook and all the things, you know, I was like, oh dang, you know.
Yeah, I remember asking you every time I'd see you about the guiding business, because if you plan on being a beach guide, don't quit your daytime job, because it's something you cannot do full time just because of weather.
Yeah.
Right.
We have grass that not last year before last, shut me out a month and a half of fishing.
Yep.
Uh,
There's too much stuff outside of your control.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you're guiding on a boat, you can work around a lot of those things. Like
Absolutely.
you have more options. But if you're on the beach, you are so chained to the conditions where like you just are gonna get a lot of days where you're not gonna be able to fish.
Right.
So be prepared for
And
that.
then to be a good guide, your clients have got to catch fish on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And, you know, I learned a lot before I decided to be a guide. Learned a lot from you. I learned a lot from, you know, all the locals really. And just kind of put it all together. And then me and my son went out every single day and night trying to target redfish and pompano and trying to establish a pattern. And it paid off.
Yeah. You're definitely like the redfish king around here.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I can't take all the credit for myself because I am also following in the footsteps of somebody else who's also a guide down here for redfish, and he's very good at what he does. I've just learned the key to red fishing, no matter where you're at, whether you're at the Outer Banks or here, fresh bait is the key.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you're throwing lures, I like throwing big lures because I like catching big fish.
Oh, for sure. Well, it's the best when they're like are busting and fired up,
Right.
and you can throw anything at them, you know. And
That gets fun.
yeah.
So let me tell
that's
you
what I
all a
like about it.
story. I took out a group of 8. 6 of those were kids. Well, the blitz came in, and they're, size of 3 football fields. Reds, jacks. Every one of my rods went off at one time.
Dang.
Thinking these kids had experience.
Oh no.
No.
That's
They
that's
just all-
okay. When you're guiding, that's mistake number one. Always like assuming.
So all the rods are just screaming drag. I'm like, grab a rod. You know, and they're just staring at
turning it upside down.
Oh,
you
I
know.
get that too. You know, and they're just holding the rod and it's just pulling drag. I'm walking over there, each rod cranking down the drag, and you know they're getting pulled towards water. I'm having to run to this kid, run back and forth. We ended up landing all the fish, and they wasn't even excited about it.
What?
They were like,
They expected it. Some
no, come to find out, the dad, they were all gamers. He wanted to try to introduce them to a new
gotcha.
sport.
And they didn't care about it.
No, they
Okay.
care less about it.
and they had no clue how amazing that experience.
Right.
Like this isn't a normal thing.
Right,
Like
30-pound
that's brutal.
redfish.
Yeah.
That's nothing. You know,
that's how it works. Yeah, there are people.
Hopefully the dad took care of you with the little tip at the end.
Absolutely. I have some of the greatest customers on the planet, and I've never had. I have had one bad client, and it wasn't. You know.
Tell us the full story. I'm just kidding.
It's
You don't
kind
have
of
to
a
show
lengthy
names.
story, but
Yeah.
they almost didn't pay me. And after he haggled the price with me for a while, I took him and all his kids out fishing. Every single one of them caught a redfish over 30 pounds, except for the girl. He would not pay for his daughter to catch fish. So one of the kids, I turn around, has got a stick, killing my crabs. I'm like, please don't do those. Those are my crabs, you know. Mom comes over there and it's like, oh, he didn't mean to. I'm like, he's got a stick. He's killing my crabs. How did he not mean to?
Yeah, just like,
Well, she's like, I don't have to put up with this. We're leaving. So her and that boy left. Got down to the end of the night. The girl's just sitting there. And I was like, do you want to catch a fish? And she goes, my dad's not going to pay for me to fish. And I said, this is on me. And it was time to go. And Dad's like, we're not paying for the fish. I'm like, I've got this. We had to wait about 30 minutes. She caught a big old black drum, the happiest one of the whole group. She was ecstatic. Made my night.
Yeah.
worth the whole
sure.
trip. So we get all packed up. They start walking ahead of me. They get to the road. They get in their car and they leave. Not paid me a dime. I was like,
Dang,
every single one of them caught a fish. Even let the girl catch fish.
who wasn't paying?
Right,
Yeah.
You know, and I'd also cut them a deal. So I start texting this guy. I was like, hey, man, there's no way to do business. You know, we had a great night of fishing. Nothing. And I was living in Orange Beach at the time, so I was up to 4 in the morning. Yeah, where's my money? He texted me about 10 o'clock next morning. He sent me my money, but it was a sketchy group. That's probably the worst group I've had. Most of my clients are absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
You know, every now and then, you know, I have trips. I don't catch fish, and, you know, 99% of them are understanding, you know. Especially this time of year. I get calls now, and I'm like, look, we can go, but I can tell you right now, it is not the time of year to be surf fishing.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the biggest thing is being honest up front.
Absolutely.
Setting those expectations.
Right.
Yeah.
But even then, you know, the whole time I got it, I only had one trip that I can point to that was like, that was a bad trip. You know,
Really?
with customers. Obviously there were plenty of times we didn't catch fish or,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, but they still were cool. But like there was one customer, he showed up drunk.
Oh,
And so,
nice.
I mean, he was lit, and like the whole time, it was him and 2 other guys. The other 2 guys weren't drunk, but he was the one that wanted to catch a shark. That's all he cared about. Just wanted to catch a shark.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm setting up a couple shark rods or whatever, and the whole time he's just in my ear, like following me around, telling me I don't know what I'm doing, basically. Like everything that I'm doing is wrong, all this stuff, and I'm like. And so I pulled the other, because it was his sons. I pulled both of them aside, and I was like, look, we do not have to be here. I was like, if y'all don't want to, if he doesn't want to fish or be in this situation, if he's miserable, like, we can all leave. Like, I don't want to be here.
Right.
Y'all clearly don't want to be
right.
here. Like, let's just freaking leave. And they were like, no, it's okay. It'll be fine or whatever. We ended up catching a shark.
nice.
As soon as he caught it, got it in, one of his sons took him off the beach. They left. They paid me, fortunately, and walked off. I was like, that. I mean, it was just the whole time he was just griping and giving me crap, and I'm like, I don't have to deal with this. Like,
Yeah. Thankfully, I haven't had to deal with that yet. Now, the drinking part, yes. 'Cause
I was
do
gonna say, we're on a
fishing-
night trip, so there's got to be a lot of
but
drinking.
yeah, and plenty of people drank,
Man.
but they were cool, you know. Like
Yeah.
this is just a guy. He was not a
Absolutely.
good drunk. Like
My greatest group was 3 retired special forces guys. They get out on the beach and they're like, "You mind if we drink?" And I was like, Dude,
No.
you do whatever you want."
Go
Man,
for it.
every one of them pulled out a full bottle out of their jacket. I was like, "All right." They're like, "You want to drink?" I was like, "No, I know how far we got to walk back." So they got hammered. They'd reel a fish in and they'd pass back out. Reel a fish in, pass back out. I was
dang.
like, "Okay, it's time to go." And one of them was injured from an IED in
oh dang,
Afghanistan or Iraq. I can't remember where he was at. And so he had a bad limp, but he was also taking pain meds and he was drinking. On
Oh,
top of it.
snap.
Nice.
He's like, I'm going to go ahead and walk. And this was right after Hurricane Sally. And y'all remember the debris?
Oh, it was
Shit
bad. Oh, yeah.
So we watched him walk ahead of us. You'd see that light just drop. And I'd ask his buddies, I was like, is he okay? And he's like, oh, tonight he is.
Yeah, he don't care.
Tomorrow he
He
will
ain't
not
gonna
feel
feel
it.
Yeah, that's
Right.
right. He's going to feel it.
So
That's
we all
awesome.
made it back safely, and I texted him the next morning to make sure,
They didn't
it was
die.
Okay. He's like, yeah, he's pretty sore this morning.
Right.
He's all right.
Where all these bruises come from?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's hilarious.
That's a good time. Yeah, you dealing with the public, you never know what you're gonna get. But fortunately, it is surprisingly that's not the norm. You know, where you run into those weird situations.
Right.
Most everybody's really cool. I mean, obviously they were cool too.
Right.
But everything's good and it wasn't bad. What helped me, what I always said, is because I had a YouTube channel.
Right.
Most of the people, like pretty much 99% of the people I took fishing, watched my YouTube channel,
Right.
and so they were just kind of excited to be there and like, oh, we enjoy watching you on YouTube, so this is cool. But so I mean that kind of deflated any awkwardness
Right.
usually right out of the gate. But
Yeah. I'd say half my clients watch my videos.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't put up videos as much as I used to.
so how do you advertise if you're not like
My
really-
Google website
Yeah.
exploded. Like, I'd say 90% of my calls come from
Really?
Google Maps.
Okay.
I have a website, and I guess it directs them to Google Maps. I'm not sure how all that works
Sure.
once you log in, because you can go to my website, but if you just type in Mad Dog Fishing, it takes you to Google, which is basically the exact same thing that's on my website.
Okay.
Because you're not like running Google ads.
No,
They're just finding you. They're searching for like surf fishing trips or whatever they're searching, and you're just coming up
Right.
top there.
I stay booked up enough. I haven't had to advertise. In fact, as I turn clients away,
Yeah.
the months of June and July.
Sure.
I mean, I
Yeah, you could run 100 trips a month.
Yeah.
Those months if you wanted to.
Are you running trips 7 days a week during then?
No, actually, I'm only doing it the last couple of years. I've only been running 4 to 5 days a week, because where I fish, it's so tiring.
Yeah.
You were about to say part time, but that doesn't sound like part time running 4 or 5 trips
It
every night.
actually is not. I don't think people realize how much effort goes into a guide.
Yeah, I was gonna
or
say that
even
still sounds like a
YouTuber.
full time job.
Yeah.
None of it's really part time. I spend 2 hours catching bait. I catch my bait live every day before my trips. So I'm up, I'm headed out 2 hours before I ever meet my clients to catch bait. And now that has bit me in the butt a couple of times where I didn't catch any bait. Had to get down there on the base side. Last year it was a bunch of jellyfish out there, but I saw a school of mullet going through. I was like, golly, this is gonna hurt. And it did. I got wrapped up around my waist, around my legs. I got my mullet, but it come at a cost.
Dang.
And
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
no,
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
you gotta do.
I remember there was a few trips where jellyfish were bad, and I was having to wait out to make some casts
Yeah.
to reach where I knew fish were, and it's like, got to do it. I mean, because I've been stung by jellyfish more times than I can count
Right.
at this point, and it's people make a bigger deal. I mean, obviously it's like
Yeah.
not pleasant,
Right.
But it's okay and it subsides.
Yeah,
so-
once you know what's coming, you're
Yeah.
like, all right, it's
Yeah.
there.
What sucks is when you're in your bathing suit
Yeah,
and those
get
little
stuck in
those
there.
debris tentacles slide up
Yeah.
your dang shorts and
Yeah.
they're getting you in that area. Like that's not fun.
No.
Like
I've
that's the
actually
worst.
had that happen before.
That's very common.
nothing
Like,
good
'cause
about that.
It just there's so many like you don't even see the jellyfish because it's just a random loose tentacle and it slides up your dang bathing suit and it's like
That's like deep sea fishing. You reel in your line, you got the slime going down your line. What is that? And you reach up and you grab it and you're slinging it, it's hitting you everywhere. That's a tentacle.
right, yeah.
5 minutes
Oops.
later,
yeah.
you got burn marks all over you. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. Or put the cast net in your mouth, and your lips go numb.
Have you
So,
have you stepped on one of the lesser electric rays?
I have.
One of those. Yeah, those are always fun.
Yeah, I stepped on one actually at down there in front of the Pink Pony quite a few years ago. It lit me up pretty good.
I have video. It
I
actually
haven't
well,
done that yet.
on Facebook. It did really well because I had my third person camera rolling.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have my first person camera on, but I was wading out and I stepped on one and of course I'm doing
Right.
all this and the dang thing jumped out of the water so you could see it. So it was kind of cool. So you got to see like what I stepped on.
Yeah.
But those things are not fun. And then there's the stargazers, which I've been stung several times, so I've probably stepped on some of those and just didn't know which one it was,
I don't
because both of them get you.
I don't think I've gotten a hold of a stargazer yet. I see them caught around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've caught some.
crazy looking fish.
Yeah,
Yeah, I heard they'll wake
they'll
you
zap you.
I bet they would.
Yeah, I have not been tagged by a stingray yet. Yeah, I
Let me get in on that. It's not a matter of if, it's when.
I know.
Because I am in the water all the time.
I know. I yes.
I mean, I've seen them take off. I've
Yep.
actually stepped on them.
Yep.
I've
stepped on
their
them too.
wings,
I've
their
slipped off
bodies,
of them and
and
been like,
Yeah.
how did he not tag me? I'm like, oh my gosh. That's the scariest thing.
June, they're mating. I walked from No Name to the point one morning right at daylight for jacks, and there must have been 2,000 stingrays on that wall.
Oh yeah.
Like one female, there'd be 7 or 8 males, and you can get in the water with them. They'll swim between your legs, over your feet, and I'm thinking, yep. I was videoing it, and I was like, this is where I'm gonna get stung right here.
Yeah,
This one
got
was-
Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got that choker.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
I remember when that hit the news, I was like, how did that even happen?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to get stabbed by one of those. It looks miserable. I've seen people that have gotten tagged and in the arm or leg. It's usually where it happens.
Yeah.
Not good.
Speaking of YouTube, there was a video out a while back where a kid purposely stepped on one, and he learned the hard way not to do that again for a video,
Yeah.
because a bar broke off in his ankle, and then it got infected, and what started off to be a funny video turned into an expensive medical bill.
Jeez.
You know, I don't hear about it much around here. I wonder how many people each summer get stung by stingrays.
Right.
You know, just vacationing down here. Like it has to happen,
You would think.
because I mean, there's so many dang people in the water.
You know, they do a really good job of keeping everything on the hush hush when it happens here. Like
Yeah.
the drownings, you don't ever really hear about.
There's a ton of drownings every year.
yeah, like all
At
the
least
time.
8 to 10.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
the
like
biggest
never
thing.
really on the news. They do a good job at trying to keep all that on the DL.
People don't don't respect it
Right,
down here.
yeah.
Like really don't. Like it can be a red flag, and I'll be at the beach. I'm like, I'm not getting in the water.
Yeah.
You know, and because I understand what I'm looking at and understand the power and what it can do.
Right.
And there'll be dang kids, and I'm like, these people have no clue. Like,
Right.
I mean, this happens every freaking day in the summer. It feels like somebody's drowning. You know, when you have these conditions.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway.
And I got
Off soapbox.
quite a few friends that are beach lifeguards. Actually, my stepson's going to be
Oh yeah.
a beach lifeguard this year.
Right on.
And I'm telling you, you're right. They don't respect that red flag means no swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay out.
Yeah, I mean, they're down here for a week, and they're like, we're swimming no matter what.
Right.
Right.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
Now, especially down at Fort Morgan, because they don't put the flags up. But, you can call. I'm not sure what the number is, but if you're unsure, you can call. But just look at the water. I mean,
Well, it sounds simple, and you know what I've always said. I think they shouldn't do this. You know, they try to educate people. You know, they put those rip current charts of like what a rip current looks like.
Yeah, but that's
I'm like, look,
it never looks like that.
I know, like I'm like, ain't nobody ever gonna be able to come down here that comes down for a week a year gonna ever walk on that beach and go, oh, there's a rip current.
Right.
I mean, sometimes it's that obvious, but rarely can you actually spot it from the beach unless you really study that stuff and actually know what you're looking at. You know, like people that are not on the beach every day are just not going to know what their crap they're looking at. So it's like, don't even try to educate people on this, because like they're going to think that they know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
And I
when
think
they
that's
don't
going to
see
give them
something so obvious,
Yes, they're going
yeah.
to give it confidence that they shouldn't have. You know, so I think it's worse to like say, hey, this is what you're looking
Yeah,
at.
that
I
makes
think they
sense.
should educate them more on how to
Just don't get in the damn water. Like,
that and how to swim out of it. I've been
Yeah.
caught in a rip current before. The ones we have here in Alabama are 100 yards wide. They're not that bad. They do widen up the further out it drags you, but if you just swim parallel to the beach,
I could understand, like, yes, I mean, it is simple if you know what you're doing.
Right.
But, like, it is, I've never been caught in one, but I understand, like, it can take you a pretty good ways out. So I can understand the panic, if you're 300 or 400 yards from the beach and you're like, oh,
everything's
like,
getting smaller.
like, I can understand people freaking out about that and not thinking right and being like, and they're just trying to swim back and not being patient enough to drift out of it and then, start swimming. So anyway, I understand because it does take you a lot further than I think people think it would.
Right.
Because it's just so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, have you ever stepped in the water, like not in a rip current, but like on just a heavy current day, like when it's rough? You know, when you feel it pulling, like not in a rip, but just in general, like anywhere you step in the water, it's just pulling east or west.
Right,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
You ever felt like that? When I've been in those, stepped in the water and felt that, I'm like, why would anybody get in this water? Like, I mean, it does not take much to go, and you're like, and you're
It's just
you're
like
over
when
here.
some kids are boogie boarding like 200 yards down the beach and then they end up in your lines.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, and they're like, oh, how'd I get here? Yeah,
Yeah, I was not too long ago. I went out and the current was pulling strong, and I had 6-ounce pyramid sinkers, and literally by the time it hit the water, it was up on the beach.
yeah,
That was 6 ounces,
yeah.
and I'm just like, I mean, you just don't need to be swimming in
I
that.
know. Water is so powerful. Like it's such a powerful thing. You just don't need to fool with it.
Yeah.
Where we at, Brad?
And an hour and 26 seconds.
Looky there.
Wow.
We usually
we try to hit around an
yeah,
hour.
or so. I think we're
that
rolling.
went by
Greg,
quick.
hey man, thanks for hopping on the podcast.
absolutely.
Go
I
check out
enjoyed it.
Mad Dog if you're looking for a beach fishing guide.
Yes.
He'll hook you up. Definitely put you on some big ones. Like that's his goal. Like I think that's usually what you want to do. is
Oh,
get them on
absolutely.
big fish. So if you're looking for
Absolutely.
big fish, it's your guy. And you can keep one. Do you have clients keep a big redfish every now
We
and then?
do. Most of the time, they're on vacation, so they have no desire to
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
them
yeah.
that way. But you can.
You
keep
can.
keep one big redfish per licensed angler. I get a lot of people ask if I clean them. I will clean 1 or 2.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not cleaning for
Like-
a party of 13.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, that's a lot of
And
work.
I'm not fast. I'm
Yeah,
not like
sure.
these guys that come off the boat and can do 100 fish in 30 minutes.
That's a lot of weight to drag back to the truck, too.
For real, dude. Yeah, you throw one or two.
Don't say that.
Well, one of them's like 25 pounds. So,
So before we wrap this up, I have this huge fish bag. It's a kill bag.
Yeah.
So, and it'll hold 4 big redfish. And I've had clients, I'm like, can we keep fish? You can keep the fish as long as you carry
you
it.
carry it.
I'll even bring the bag you can put them in.
Yeah, yeah.
So we get down there, and they're putting these redfish in the bag, but they're never lifting this bag. And they don't realize 30, 40-pound redfish, you got 4 of them in there. That's over 100 pounds.
Yeah.
So they got to pick it up at the end of the night, and they're like, we can't carry this. I said, well, you done killed the fish.
Yeah.
Somebody's carrying it.
Yeah, I told you.
They're like,
You're
"Can we
carrying
put-
it.
Can we put it on your cart? And I'm like,
If
no.
you want to pull the cart.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
That's how I get out of pushing the
Yeah.
cart. I'm like, well, if you want to put them on there and help push the cart, and then that's usually how you get out of not pushing the cart.
Let's have a little bit of foresight and realize what's going to happen. And
sure.
but one big redfish will feed a lot of people.
It will.
You know, you don't like if you just want to come and have a great experience and have a nice meal, like, and you want to keep one literally is plenty. Like you could have 8 people and they could get a fillet, and you know, obviously, you know, you're not all eating just fish, so like one fish will feed a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, hey, thanks for watching
Yes,
the podcast
we
or
appreciate it.
listening. Give us 5 stars just because you want to on Apple. If you're listening on Apple, thank you. We appreciate it. We're going to try to get a little more consistent this year with the podcast. And go give Greg a shout on all his things.
Yo,
And he's
come
still
on
got
out.
a lot of old YouTube videos up there.
Yeah.
You need
Mad
to get
Dog.
back in it, but he's got some good
Mad
videos, some
Dog.
educational
Next
videos,
time he
so-
comes on the podcast, me and Mad Dog are going to arm wrestle. So
Oh, yeah.
don't miss that.
Y'all comment down below if you want to see that
He,
one. I want to see
he'll
that.
probably beat me. He's got
Yeah.
that youth on his side.
I'm still
I'll just
pretty
lean into it.
good. I'm still pretty good.
Right.
All right. Peace out,
Appreciate
guys.
it, guys.